and welcome to Meet the Symphony. I am Tim Corpus, the Executive Director of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, and we are here live and in person here from Hyde Park, and we are so excited that you could be joining us from home for this very special celebration. So tonight you're going to see some performances, you're going to see some behind the scenes of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, and get to meet the team personally. So we are so happy that you can join us, and you can interact with us via the chat here on YouTube. So feel free to chime in and ask your questions there. Now, the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, we are a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit, and this is actually our 68th season. So we're so excited for all of what's to come. We have 3 concerts, and you'll hear more about what's to come this season. But I don't want to take all night because I know you want to see some of the music. So I'm going to introduce to you now our artistic director, Mr. Matthew Shepard. And here's Matt joining us because this is live. We're doing this live. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hi,
Good
Tim.
to see you.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello, everybody. So glad that you can join us here today. Thank you so much for being here. I am, as Tim said, Matthew Shepard. I'm the artistic director here at Hyde Park Youth Symphony, and I've had the privilege of being the artistic director for 8 years. Every rehearsal, every moment, I am just amazed at the commitment and the growth that these young players show. It's truly a joy to be there for these 2 hours every Thursday evening, because it's just inspiring to be around young people who care like this about what they're doing. From our oldest and most experienced veterans in the Youth Symphony to our newest members in prep strings or string orchestra, and in our community ensembles with the community brass band and our starter strings program, HPYS musicians show the power and the importance of what we do every single week. Before we dive in with all of the main events, a few quick housekeeping items. One, as Tim said, you're welcome to use the chat and keep an eye on the comment sections as well. We'll try to keep an eye on it and answer any questions that you might have. And if you have any tech troubles, just let us know. Throw something in the comments, and Tim, our tech guru, as well as being our executive director, will do his best to help you out. So as we kick off this season at the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, we have a lot to celebrate. We're back in person, 100%, every week at our home, the Logan Center for the Arts. We're back making music in person, confident that we can return week after week to continue this journey and this growth together. And even and especially after the challenges of the past few years, our students are engaging each other and engaging with each other at the highest level. They're listening, they're playing, they're laughing together as they explore repertoire that lets them learn what it means to be a part of an ensemble. Each week, we tackle a repertoire that pushes our boundaries, and we push not just to be able to play the right notes and rhythms, which we do, usually, and if we don't, we fix it for the next time, but to really make sure that we're understanding what it means to express ourselves as people, as artists, through music, to tell a story and to communicate. We go beyond just listening to and exploring and being able to show how it goes, to learning really what it means, both to us as listeners and to us as individuals to study this music. And while we search for answers, we know that the questions are actually just as important as the answers. They help us cultivate this growth mindset, a sense of curiosity about the world, that serves us both in our musical endeavors and in everything we do outside of that. That's the power of music and of education. It broadens our world rather than limiting it. It gives us the tools to dig, not just the answers to the questions. And an organization like Hyde Park Youth Symphony operates within a huge community, an ecosystem of music and education. We aren't an island. We rely on our partners, on our collaborators, and on our colleagues to work together in this incredible mission of providing high-quality music education to our students. Over the years, we've had lots of fabulous partners to work with from across Chicago. We've had the Logan Center and the University of Chicago Music Department. We've had St. Paul and the Redeemer Church. We had a guest orchestra visit us from Norway one year. We've worked with the Chicago Philharmonic, with the Grant Park Music Festival, the Chicago Musical Pathways Initiative, music teachers of Hyde Park, and so much more. But undoubtedly, one of our greatest collaborators and colleagues over all of the years that we've been here has been Lucinda Ali-Landing. Lucinda has been one of our strongest, most reliable partners in string music education on the South Side for years, and it is our great pleasure to welcome her today as our guest of honor. Lucinda?
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're delighted to have you here. Lucinda Ali-Landing is a violinist and is the founder of the Hyde Park Suzuki Institute. She began her studies at the age of 6 with her father, James Holland, a violinist and violist, and began with Suzuki studies in the early 70s. After studying for 1 year with her father, she then studied with Sarah Deenan and later with Donna Ross. Lucinda went on to study orchestral music with the Civic Orchestra of Chicago, which is the premier training orchestra for the Chicago Symphony, and she was the youngest member of that training orchestra. At age 11, under the direction of Sir George Schulte, the music director, she received a Bachelor of Music degree from Northern Illinois University and a Master's of Music degree from DePaul University. She's really a Chicagoan through and through.
Definitely.
Currently, Lucinda is in the first violin section of the Illinois Philharmonic Orchestra and of the Chicago Sinfonietta, two of the premier ensembles in the Chicago area. Additionally, she's performed with the Joffrey Ballet and the Rockford Symphony, and as a freelance artist, she's performed with, among others, Ray Charles, Barry White, the Winans, Brian McKnight, Oprah Winfrey, Three Mo Tenors, Ben Vereen, and more. And beyond that, Lucinda is just a fabulous colleague. I've had the pleasure of knowing her for a number of years, and any time that we have questions about students, about music in the South Side, about string music education here in the Hyde Park area, Lucinda is the person that we talk to first. She's a supportive, wonderful colleague, and we are delighted to honor her today. So Lucinda,
Thank
so
you
much.
very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alicia, Tim, Matt, your board of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony. Thank you so much for even considering throwing my name in the hat to be considered, to be recognized for this. Definitely have been here years, I think almost 25 years at the Hyde Park Suzuki Institute, along with Hyde Park Youth Symphony, just community staples and friends. Affectionately known as the Suzuki lady here in Hyde Park in the grocery store. For the past almost 25 years, I've been on this music educator journey with the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, a long time loved community staple. Now and over the years, we have shared some of the same students, same goals, challenges, and values. Our missions are very similar of high quality musical instruction, inclusion, and family. It's an honor to be presented with this award from such a wonderful institution. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lucinda.
Thank you.
We're grateful to you. And as I go grab a little token of our appreciation, I just have to ask, how many students do you think you've had?
Oh my goodness. So it's written somewhere like over 1,000 students, but that would just really age me way too much.
So probably about 12, right?
Thank you. I like to say I'm 35. So that I'm forever 35.
Well, Lucinda, we at the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, as well as your somewhere around 1,000 students, are really grateful. So thank you.
Thank you
I'd like
so
to present
much.
you with
Yay.
this,
Oh,
just a
wow.
token
This is
of our
beautifully
appreciation. And
heavy.
it is heavy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate
So,
it.
Thank you, Lucinda.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Enjoy.
And yeah, round of applause from our in-person people for Lucinda. And next up, it's my pleasure to introduce my fabulous colleague at the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, Andrea Ferguson, the director of the String Orchestra and Preparatory Strings. Andrea.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Matt. So my name's Andrea Ferguson, and I have the privilege of working with the prep strings and string orchestras at HPYS, which are our two younger, more intermediate ensembles. As a teacher, prep strings and string orchestra are like a highlight of my week, coming to work with them every Thursday. They are inquisitive, clever, diligent practicers, and excellent listeners for their young age. So next on our schedule is a segment that will give you a little glimpse into what a typical Thursday at Hyde Park Youth Symphony looks like.
Each Thursday, the students of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony attend rehearsals at the Reva and David Logan Center for the Arts in Hyde Park. Students from ages 7 to 17 participate in one of our 3 core ensembles: Preparatory Strings, String Orchestra, and the Youth Symphony.
What does it mean? Oh! Oh!
I know.
Timothy, no.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
god.
Go ahead, say it louder.
Hold.
Hold it for how long, though? Like,
Until
5 minutes. Go ahead, Etta. Longer than usual, right? So it's a hold note for the fermata, which means we're gonna hold it longer than 4 beats, right? That's all that means. And Majid, go ahead.
You're actually supposed to hold it for like 2 more beats.
At least 2 more beats, right? That's kind of like the standard for a fermata. Like,
You haven't hold it for 2, 4, 7.
practice the bowing direction in the air before we make some sounds. Here we go, ready? In the last 5 measures, it's a down bow to start. Ready? And here we go. It's down, 2, 3, 4. Lift, down, 2, 3, 4. Lift again, down, 2. Now be careful. It's just an up bow. Oh yeah, so there's a trap. There's 3 down bows. Take a look at it. Take a look at this with me. It's 3 down bows followed by 1 up bow, and then the last note is a down bow. 1, 2, 3, go.
The preparatory strings, led by conductor and music educator Andrea Ferguson, provide students their first ensemble experience. Small class sizes and an emphasis on building strong fundamentals of string technique, ensemble playing, and musicianship are the hallmarks of the preparatory strings. Ms. Ferguson, a string specialist with years of experience in young student instruction, leads preparatory strings in a curriculum that balances the individual and group aspects of playing. Made up of intermediate string players in middle and high school, String Orchestra gives students a chance to focus on string-specific technique while playing and performing in an ensemble setting. Students benefit from individual attention and expert pedagogy as they grow as string players and well-rounded musicians.
Slower.
The Youth Symphony consists of the most experienced orchestral musicians in the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, including high school and advanced middle school students on instruments including winds, brass, percussion, and strings.
At the right time, basically, but not totally together. Can you make those 2 adjustments? 1, listen to your tone quality, and 2, really start and end every note together. Let's try it again. Let it
Students with previous orchestral experience can hone their musical, technical, and ensemble skills in the orchestra while performing both standard orchestral repertoire and new works.
pause, only because out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Ezra go like this. Didn't quite get it. Right? That's why you were doing that? It's not quite as together. Can you really focus the front end of every bow stroke? Absolutely together. Breathe together. Be with your stand partner first, and then with the people in front of you. 1, 2, and. Two of our notes were absolutely together. I think it was note number 1 and note number 10. Can you get all the other notes together as well? 1, 2.
Led by artistic director Matthew Shepard, the Youth Symphony often performs outside of our 3 core concerts each season. The Youth Symphony has performed at some of the finest venues in Chicago, including Rockefeller Chapel, Mandel Hall, the South Shore Cultural Center, and Chicago's Symphony Center. Students have also taken part of side-by-side events with the Chicago Philharmonic and the Chicago Sinfonietta.
All 11 of you. 1, 2, and. that's just a sample of the great music making that happens each week at HPYS. We hope you'll continue to support us in this, and we hope to see you at our concerts. There's so much more we want to share with you of the joy, the excitement, the learning, the growth that takes place week after week. And tonight, as a bit of a precursor to our upcoming December concerts, we are thrilled to have a number of students joining us from HPYS's Youth Symphony to perform with you. We couldn't fit the entire orchestra right here, but we had 5 students volunteer to come out and play for you tonight, which is really exciting. First up is violinist Vivian Liu, who is a veteran of HPYS, having played with us for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And very excitingly, today we get to hear her not on the violin, but on the viola. Vivian,
Yeah.
take it away.
Do I say anything before I start playing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can let us know what piece you're playing.
Okay. So I'm playing the Bach Cello Suite number 3, Boris 1 and 2. I actually don't know how to pronounce the word. I have never learned how to pronounce it.
That was great.
Yeah.
It's Boré.
Bourrée, okay.
Fabulous.
I also
Nailed
can't
it.
spell it. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Vivian. That was beautiful. Oh, we have one question. Do you mind if I ask you one question? That was really lovely playing. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. What's something that inspired you to choose this piece to play for us this evening?
Well, it was actually the first thing I learned when I started viola. I had no idea how to read autoclave when I started, and this was a really good introduction to it. And it was my audition piece for a different orchestra, and that just makes me nostalgic for how many times I played it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's awesome. And before we let you go, Vivian, we're going to keep you here just a second longer. We're cornering you here. So you've been in Hyde Park Youth Symphony for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
You said? And that means that you stuck around for a while. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you keep coming back?
I mean, so I first found out about this orchestra through Gunn, actually, because he kept talking about it when we were, middle schoolers, and I was like, oh, it sounds cool. And then the next year I was leaving my old school, so I was like, okay, this sounds like a good orchestra to join, because my new school didn't have such a robust orchestra, And I came here and I was like, oh my god, this conductor is full of energy. He comes back every week and he's like, he has more energy than I have, and he's like 40 or something. Yeah. So, you know, I stuck around for this enthusiasm and the magic of playing with an orchestra, you know?
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll have to introduce me to that conductor sometime.
I know.
So, Vivian, thank you so much. It was lovely to hear you play. Now we'll create a path and let you actually
yes.
lead. Our next performer, the unscripted elements of live performance. Our next performer today actually plays an instrument that you don't necessarily immediately associate with the orchestra. This performer plays the piano. She is our only pianist in Youth Symphony, Mariam Mohammed. And you can come on over, Mariam, and start getting ready. And Mariam, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you'll be playing.
My name is Mariam Mohammed. I'm 16. I will be playing Prelude in E minor by Chopin.
Wonderful, Mariam. It's so nice to hear you play. So, one of the cool things about piano is that you can perform by yourself all the time. What's it like being an orchestral pianist at HPYS?
Well, it's really different because I'm used to performing by myself and practicing by myself as well. So the first day of orchestra, I was like, I know what to expect. I play with my sister sometimes, right? And I went there, and it was so different from what I expected, but it was also really cool because it felt like we were all like one performer. So it wasn't like way different, but it was also kind of, it was it was different, but it felt the same. And I thought that was really cool. It's a little weird being the only pianist, because the violinists, they get to have a bunch of violins and a bunch of cellos, and they have the wind section. But being the only violinist, pianist is also kind of cool, because I feel like I can stand out on my own somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And when you come to the concert, you'll get to hear Mariam playing some pretty featured roles in some of the repertoire. So we're really glad that you joined us this year. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mariam. And our last set of performers today, we have a small group, not the full orchestra, but we have one of our chamber ensembles today joining us, our string trio. We'll tell you a little bit more about this string trio a little bit later. I'll let them introduce themselves and let them tell you what they're playing today. Trio?
So, my name is Gun Kim,
My name's Trey Sharma.
My name's Alicia Duarte.
and we are all seniors at Whitney Young High School, and we're part of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony Trio. And today we're going to be playing a piece by Hector Villalobos. It's called Quartet Number 1. And specifically, we'll be playing the first song, which is the Cantilena, and the fourth song, which is the Cancioneta.
it's a little complicated. Cause Gunn and I have actually been playing together for 5 years, something like that.
And I've been playing in the same orchestra as Gunn for like 4 years.
Yeah, and we all played in
Alicia.
Hyde HPYS together like four years ago. We've been playing in the same orchestra
At
for 6
school,
years,
yeah.
so
It's your old friends.
Yeah.
Amazing. How long have you been working on this piece together?
that's also
This
funny.
So
I mean, this is,
they played this piece together.
Yeah.
and she also
And I played it with a different group. And we all played it together for the first time
a week ago.
This week.
this week. Yeah. I think like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But we pulled it off.
Yeah.
So,
Really did?
Yeah, because we're all able to communicate with each other. So it was pretty easy to piece it together because we already know our parts. So it's more
Yeah.
about communication rather than just knowing the piece at this point, which is what I really like about playing with these two. Because I know they can play the piece and we can really talk about like the musical aspects of the piece.
What a fabulous answer. Wow, thank you guys.
So I have another question then. So the question from Mr. Shepard over here then is, how does playing together in chamber music like this sort of inform your orchestral playing, or vice versa?
For me, like playing in chamber music specifically with them, because I play with them at school as well, it makes me able to think about the other parts more, not just my own part, and like how my part is going to fit into the actual piece as a whole. Because when you're in chamber groups, it's really easy to hear like what the other parts are, which is not always true in like big orchestras. So then it just makes me be more conscious of that when I'm in school.
I love that. That's Alicia. It sounds like you're going to say something.
It's just also different because you're like a soloist, but you're also playing with other people. So it's a very unique situation where you have to know your music, otherwise you can hear a mistake. When you're in an orchestra, there tends to be a little bit more like room to be out of tune, but here you have to be really in tune, and you have to listen a lot more than you do in orchestra, because in orchestra you have a conductor. It's more about like how you're interacting with your section, but here's how you're interacting with the other parts of the music, which I really find to be, it helps me to, like Trey said, to listen to other sections more and be more aware of what other parts have, because during rehearsal it's constantly like, oh, what do you have in measure like 10, or like, oh, are we playing together? And that's the stuff that you also do in orchestra, but it's essential here, and you have to like do it yourself rather than with a conductor.
I love that. It's one of the things that we love about the chamber music program too, is that it gives this sort of different element, this different aspect outside of orchestral playing, but all of these different ways of playing together inform each other. Solo playing, chamber music, ensemble playing, and finding ways to let everybody understand and make those connections is really one of the things that we cherish doing at the Hyde Park Youth Symphony. So another round of applause for all of our fabulous performers today. And as our trio exits the stage, it's my pleasure also to introduce another really important person to us here at the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, one of our representatives from the Board of Directors, in fact, the President of the Board of Directors, Alicia Wilson-Alstrom. Alicia?
Thank you. Thank you again. So I want to give another acknowledgement to this year's honoree, Lucinda Ali-Landing, who's a fixture on the south side of Chicago, and to our wonderful young people who are part of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony program. I'm really excited to be here tonight and wanted to share a couple of thoughts as a parent and as the co-chair for this year's board for Hyde Park Youth Symphony. As a parent and as a co-chair, I have been impressed not only by the musicianship and the skill building that young people experience with the program, but as a parent, I have been excited for what it has meant for my own children. We found Hyde Park Youth Symphony actually because I wanted to motivate a little bit more practice and provide my 3 children with an opportunity to make music with other young people and young musicians. in our house, we joke that we are not raising yo-yo ma, but we are on a good day trying to raise young people who have passion, who connect with their community, and who have a broader sense of purpose. And one of the things that has most excited me about the program is that my 3 children have found that in their week-to-week practices, and then they're coming together for performances. I'm super excited that my young people have found a sense of joy when they have participated in the Hyde Park Youth Symphony. And as a native of the South Side of Chicago, I am always looking for opportunities to promote and tell the story of the wonderful institutions that we have here in the South Side of Chicago. And Hyde Park Youth Symphony is one of the best. Run and tell that.
Hi, my name is Charles Roberts, and in addition to being part of the board of directors of the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, I've also had the privilege of teaching at one of the programs they facilitate, a brass band run in partnership with the Progressive Beulah Church in Auburn Gresham. That program is so incredibly impactful, and I was consistently stunned at how well the organization made use of the resources at hand. I feel so lucky to have been a teacher that got some of those students introduced to brass instruments, reading music, understanding music theory, rhythms, and even just a few aha moments. The care and attention Hyde Park Youth Symphony and Matt Shepard put into planning that program in partnership with Pastor Barclay and I was simply above and beyond the call of duty, and is what led to my desire to join the board and to be a bigger part in preserving and growing this organization. Speaking of impact, it only takes $500 to sponsor a student's tuition for the whole season. I'm not sure where else a student can receive such care for that kind of cost, and I'm really proud to be contributing to this organization that is dedicated to keeping itself accessible to families, to students, and the community it serves. I hope you too consider contributing to the Hyde Park Youth Symphony, and please do not hesitate to reach out to me, the board, or the staff if you have any questions about the impact your gift could have.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you so much, Alicia. Our board of directors are incredible and have been really the backbone of making sure HPYS does well, especially during a difficult time like the pandemic. The board of directors did so much to make sure our artistic staff and our students were taken care of so we could maintain rehearsals, maintain performances for our students throughout those difficult 2 years. So I just want to say thank you to our board of directors, to our incredible students this evening. You sounded terrific. Thank you to our artistic staff. And thank you to you for joining us and watching us. And like Charles said, you can support this incredible organization. Head to thehpys.org and you can give a donation there. But I want to invite you to join us on December 15th. Will be our first concert of the season, and it'll be at the beautiful Riva and David Logan Center for the Arts right here in Hyde Park. So you can join us there, and then we'll have more fun to come in 2023. So thank you all so much for joining us, and have a great evening.